Hi everyone, welcome to the second part of the Coloring from Myth and Magic by Kinuko. Picture is Starry Night, and when in the first part I colored sky and water with polychromos pencils, I deliberately left some uncolored places in the center of the sky and in the upper layer of the water. There I put very light pressure on the blue pencils, so through the blue pigment you can clearly see a white paper. And now it's time to work a little bit more on these areas. I took sky blue light Prismacolor pencil because I really love effect of shining and highlighting which you can get by using light and pastel Prismacolor pencils like white, like sky blue light, like pale sage or deco pink when you use them on top of the dark colors. So here I smooth those uncolored areas with sky blue light, and it helps me to create something like cloud on the sky, or maybe it's a highlight from moon which is hidden somewhere behind clouds. And on the water it helped me to create some kind of halo, and on this highlighted area of the water later I will put stars from the arms of the mermaid. I also thought about adding moon on the sky, and I even tried to draw it using white Prismacolor, but then I decided against it. I decided that all attention has to go to the stars. You can also see that I hadn't colored yet the lower part of the sky, and now I will be covering it using deco pink, blush pink and lilac colors. I really wanted to make smooth transition here, so from blush pink I will go with lilac, and I will partly go to the area which is already colored with dark blue polychromos pencils. And of course, if we have pink and lilac on the sky, they will be slightly reflecting in the water. So with lilac I also put couple of pencil strokes on the upper layer of the water to make this reflection of the lilac sky into the blue water. I also realized that I forgot to make a reflection of the boat of the ship into the water surface, so with black or dark sepia pencil I slightly darkened area of the water beneath the ship to make that shadow or reflection in the water. When I thought about which colors to use for the angel, I think that I was inspired by works by watercolor paintings of Stephanie Law, and in her works she uses a lot of pastel colors like pastel blue, pastel brown, pastel green, and she also uses a lot of gold. So I decided that first I will color body, tail, wings and even hair of my mermaid using regular colored pencils, trying to imitate gold, and then I will be using my metal golden watercolors. I love my sets of pearlescent and golden watercolors, but I don't use them quite often, and I decided that it's time to use them at least for the small details on this picture. When I thought about which colors to use for the skin of the mermaid, I realized that today I don't want to experiment with blue or with green skin tone, and that I want to use the most traditional Prismacolor pencil, which I always use as a basic for the fair skin, and it's light peach. When I started to color her body, I realized that part of her left arm is missing. I thought first that it was my mistake and that I accidentally covered it with blue when I was doing background, but then I realized that the black line which outlines her arm is missing, so it's a mistake of a publisher. So if you hadn't started yet to do this page, be careful and remember that you need to draw her left hand. The main problem was which color to select for shadows on the skin. I definitely didn't want to use any brown colors. I don't think that they are appropriate for the mermaid who is in the water. And in the end, I decided to do very light shading, and color for the shadows will be clay rose. Apart from a rose, it has a little bit of a violet tint into it, so it really nicely matches color of her wings, color of her tail, and I think that it's good for the mermaid. So it's a little bit of the fantasy skin tone. But I also wanted to show that all stars which she is keeping, they produce light, so they will be casting highlights on the areas of the skin closer to them, especially on her arms. And for those areas I will be using a little bit of eggshell to add a little bit of warmth to the color of her skin. This page has a lot of various elements, various objects of undersea life. So of course to color all of them I will need various colors, and I risk to create a very motley picture. And I wanted to limit amount of colors as much as possible. So I decided that her tail and probably her hair will be in one color. They will be golden. To create impression of these golden scales, I selected various Prismacolor pencils from the lightest, which is Deco Yellow, then slightly darker Jasmine, then again a little bit darker Artichoke, and Polychromos Dark Sepia for the shading. I started to color tail. The whole right side of the tail will be a little bit darker and the left side a little bit lighter. Also, her tail is a little bit bended, and there near this curve of her tail I put darker color. I tried to create impression of the shining scales. I didn't want to work on each and every individual scale, so I worked on the bigger areas. When I covered tail using Deco Yellow, Artichoke, Jasmine and Sepia, I realized that it looks a little bit boring, and I definitely want to add some warmer yellow color. That's why on the final step I will add a little bit of goldenrod, which is much warmer color and it already starts to be closer to the orange ones. I tried to use it very carefully, but it helped me to create more interesting impression of the golden tail. And almost the same colors I decided to use on her hair. The one difference was that first I shaded area around her crown using espresso, and then I proceeded to color remaining hair with jasmine, artichoke, deco yellow, so tail and hair are quite similar. Now the fun part starts, and I will be covering stars and I will be drawing stars in the areas where I lost them by covering them with dark blue color on the water and on the sky. For now, I have 3 sets of pearl and metal watercolor pencils, uh, paints, paints by Finetech and paints by Coloro. I tried to select some natural neutral gold, then some reddish gold, in order to create some variety in colors, because to cover all stars, and we have here a lot of them, in just one gold will look boring. And if you use some more yellowish gold, some reddish gold, and you can even add some very pale white gold, then picture will look more interesting. I use tiny brush with nice thin tip because I need to draw small stars on the water and on the sky. I try to use not very much of water. I want a really dense paint in order to be able to mask blue color behind the gold, and those stars, they need to be nicely visible even on the dark background. I don't often add some shining, pearlescent or metal effects on my pictures. I love my paints, but I prefer to create such an effect, especially effects of the metals using pencils. But sometimes it's nice to play with my paints and to add some sparkle to my pictures. So I really enjoyed this part of this coloring. The biggest problem of perlachant and metal watercolors is that they are not very visible on the camera when I film my color alongs. So here I try to show you how shiny are my stars and how I added a little bit of pearl pink to the sky. I hope that you can see how shiny is the upper part of my mermaid. And the last step for this second part will be working with Posca pens. I have ivory Posca and I have a white one, and in several places I will be adding highlights, but first I need to work a little bit on her left hand, which is still lost. I wasn't very happy of the area around those stars which are near the surface of the water, so there I decided to create more intense yellow halo around them. I was unable to do it with yellow pencils, and very helpful in such cases when you are unable to put a light color on top of the dark with your pencils. In such cases I always use my Neocolor crayons, so I grabbed pale yellow and I added a little bit of color around all those golden stars. Now I'm quite happy with my mermaid and I'm looking forward for the part 3 where I plan to finish all the remaining elements. Thanks for watching and I will see you very soon.